Hello and thanks so much for joining us. This is OGTV Main News coming to you live from our news desk. My name is Bukola Agbakiso. On the news, Ogun residents protest alleged Nigeria customs brutality. Federal government extends NIM SIM linkage by 8 weeks. Banks performing loans rise to 1.5 trillion naira. Huge snowstorm hits US, grounds flights. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace.
And tonight on the sports segment of the news, the Tigers draw you.
Now the news in full, we begin with politics. The Membership Registration and Revalidation Committee from the national body of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has arrived at Ogun State and met with the stakeholders with a charge on them to mobilize and sensitize members of the party at the grassroots to subscribe to the registration exercise. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports that the committee was chaired by Honorable Ademori Kuye. This reports.
This meeting is at instance of the National Registration Committee from Abuja to come and educate all our stakeholders on modalities of the registration.
Registration of members into the political party is the core of the success and strength of the institution. The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, is embarking on registration and revalidation of members across the country, and the National Committee to carry out the task are already in Ogun State. Welcoming the team from Abuja, the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimon Salako Idele, assured of necessary support for the committee.
This process started when we were asked to submit names of registration officers at polling unit level and at ward level. And my expectation is that as leaders, we have done this judiciously in our respective local government and selected people that will carry out this exercise to the best of their ability and showcase our people. As leaders, our responsibility is to now go back home and whatever we learn from this meeting to transfer the knowledge to all the people on the ground at home.
The chairman of the Registration and Revalidation Committee said the exercise is a task for all.
The exercise is historic and unique and unusual in the epoch of political party administration in Nigeria, because no political party have ever come up with a framework for party membership drive like this. Rather, it has always been business as usual, where party membership registration are done covertly and sometimes by proxy in many of the political parties in the country.
He urged the stakeholders to collaborate with the committee, noting that it is a joint task.
Let us comb every nook and cranny, every street, every polling unit, every corner of the state to get members on board and get these people to believe and be part of what APC stands for. It is important for us to note that it is no more business as usual. Mr. President has reiterated that no more shall appointment be given to outsiders in the name of being technocrats unless you are a party member.
The stakeholders present at the meeting were 7 National Assembly members, House of Assembly members, former National Assembly members, party chieftains, among others. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
And still from the governor's office, angry rice traders and residents of Ogun State have staged a peaceful protest against the brutality and killing of one on the Shagamu Interchange and Abeokuta Expressway by the men of the Nigeria Customs Service to the governor's office, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Governor's office correspondent Tunde Olaniran once again reports that the secretary to the state government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, assured of immediate interface with relevant authorities to bring an end to such occurrence in the state, assuring that the medical bills of the victims will be taken care of by the state government. His report.
It was a peaceful protest to the governor's office, Okemoson, Abeokuta. The reason for the protest is the brutal killing of one and injury of 4 others by men of the Nigeria Customs Service.
Put on market design. We buy and sell to our customers in Shagam, whenever we get our goods from here, on our way going, we see customs on the road, we do bookings with them. But to my surprise this morning, after doing the booking, on our way going, after Shimu Junction, another set of customs intercepted our goods from the same office, federal operation. We were like, what happened? We put your people back there, what happened? We also called soldiers for backup. Soldiers knelt on the road and started shooting straight bullets to our men. 4 people were still hospitalized right now, not knowing their fate. 4 men with bullets on them now. We don't know what will happen. This is the only one we can see dead for now. We don't know which one might still happen.
The Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, applauded the peaceful nature of the protest, noting that the well-being of every resident of the state is a priority of the current administration.
Responsibility government. What has to be done for the rights of the man who unfortunately lost his life? We will also look into it and make sure and meet his family and all that.
He assured that no stone will be left unturned to get to the root of the matter.
Èmi dẹ̀ fẹ́ fi tóyin lójú pé ìkíní nínú ẹ̀ ó ṣe ní láàánú púpọ̀ pé àbúrò wa yìí ó ń láti dúró sí ìwádìí. Mo dẹ̀ rí kíní yẹn fún ara mi, it's not looking good at all. Ìdẹ̀ ní deceive yín. And we will convey this to His Excellency for action. Ṣé rí solution àbí àbáyọ kíní yìí kì í ṣe ọ̀nà ojú kan o. Gbogbo ojú ọ̀nà ni bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bí. Ó ṣe máa ṣẹlẹ̀ l'Abuja, ó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ l'Abuja, ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ l'Èkó. Gbogbo àwọn tí ó bá kàn, gbogbo wọn pátápátá la máa ṣe.
Mr. Talabi promised that the government will interface with relevant agencies on behalf of the people. Tunde Olaniran, OGTV News.
On police brutality, the Judicial Panel on Police Brutality sitting in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, has advocated training on Administrative Criminal Justice Act for all security operatives handling suspects in order not to infringe or violate citizens' rights. This was the view of panelists at one of the sittings while taking evidences from some of the respondents brought before the panel for investigation. Elizabeth Esson reports.
Did you tell him that you are not arresting him? You just want him to make that statement. I told him the statement was taken voluntary or under caution. The suspect, Samuel. No, he did not write anything. When we took him, he did not. He did not write statement at all. Yes, when we took him before the OC now said he was asking them. How many days did he stay with you? No, it's not immediately.
A police inspector who claimed ignorance of Administrative Criminal Justice Act, despite his 25 years of service in the Nigerian police force, surprised the listeners at the panel sitting. This was revealed while giving evidences in a case of human rights violation and unlawful arrest leveled against the Nigerian police by petitioner.
Right there to say, can you write this thing for me or give him his time, let him come at his own time. That morning he said he paid him. Give him that money. So time, anytime you have chance, you feel so. Use this one transport, come and give us statement. Which one do you think will have the more friendly?
The chairman of the panel, retired Honorable Justice Solomon Olugbemi, speaks further on the essence of Administrative Criminal Justice Act in handling criminal cases.
There is no doubt that it is unlawful to detain a suspect more than the time stipulated by the Constitution of Nigeria. And the Constitution stipulates that a suspect should be taken to court within 24 hours, but that is where there is courts available in the area. But where the court is far away and is not easily available, then it should not be detained for more than 48 hours. So if any suspect is detained for more than 48 hours, at least, then such detention is unlawful.
The panel therefore called for good relationship between the security operatives and the public for peaceful coexistence. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
On legislative matters, Ogun State House of Assembly has engaged the Oniraniken of Iraniken, Oba Adewale Adeniji, over petitions written against him by the Olumeru Adeyemi Shodeya farmland, Idarikakanoyi village through Aderige village by Okerala farmland in Shagamu on alleged unlawful invasion of the parcels of land. However, the Assembly would not hesitate to recommend to the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs to invoke relevant sections of the State Chieftaincy Law as well as Anti-Land Grabbing Law 2016 on anyone found guilty. The Assembly, through its Committee on Land and Housing, led by Honorable Damilola Shuneye, issued the warning during a meeting which had in attendance Ewusi of Makun Shagamu, Oba Fimoti, Oyeshola Akisanya, and Oba Adeniji, as well as other concerned parties at the Assembly Complex, Okimoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kola Waliosho covered the meeting and his report is presented in this package.
The chairman, Honorable Damilola Shuneye, and other members of the House Committee on Lands and Housing have directed the Oniranike of Iranike, Oba Adeniji, who was accused of unlawful land occupation through a court judgment obtained in 2018, to avail the Assembly with a copy of the survey within 2 weeks of authentication by appropriate government agencies, adding that no one should threaten the peaceful coexistence of the residents in the state under the guise of taking possession of landed property through a court order. Quoting from Section 6, Subsection 3 and 4 of the State Anti-Land Grabbing Law, the committee cautioned that any traditional ruler found aiding the activities of land grabbers Ajagungbale to pose threat or unleash terror on the people shall also be treated as land grabbers Ajagungbale.
This House will not hesitate to recommend to the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs to impose the maximum sanction and punishment on anyone as provided by Section 6 and 3, Section 6, Subsection 3 and 4 of the Anti-Land Grabbing Law 2016 in Ogun State, which is not limited to suspension or fine of 10 million naira or fine or imprisonment of 10 years or both to any persons found guilty of this.
The committee stressed the need for Oba Adeniji to provide a survey plan upon which the judgment was based, saying that it is the survey plan that would assist the committee to determine the areas covered by the said judgments. Also, the lawmakers resolved a petition written by Tunde Ologunde and Co. against the Oraniken Oba Adeniji on the allegation of forcible entering of landed property received on January 6, 2021, where the lawmakers directed that all legal occupants of Ipa village farmland in the Makun Shagamu, including one Wale, the committee resolved that they should immediately vacate the village land and subsequently desist from conducting themselves in violent manner, as Oba Adeniji had admitted before the House Committee that judgment obtained did not extend to Ipa village, warning that anyone found to be disturbing the peace in the area would be dealt with according to the law. In his remarks, the Ewusi of Makun Shagamu, Oba Timothy Oyeshola Akisanya, appealed to the lawmakers to evoke relevant sections of the state law to restore peace and save the residents from incessant harassment and intimidation by land grabbers, noting that he had confidence that the legislative arm would do justice on the matter.
And still to come in the news, Senate forecloses voting by underage married girls. Join us for details of these and other reports after the break. Continues. Oba Kazim Aderibigbe Balogun has been installed as the Alale of Agility community in Yewa South local government area of Ogun State, while presenting instruments of office to the monarch. State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun urged the entire community to collectively work together and embrace unity for the progress of the town. Our reporter Yusuf Ganiyu witnessed the event held at Agility community. His report.
It was indeed a dawn of a new era in Agility community as Ogun State government installed Oba Kazim Aderibigbe Balogun as the new Alale of Agility in Yewa South local government. The state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Afolabi Afuakwe, said the appointment of Oba Kazim Aderibigbe Balogun as the new Alale of Agility is overwhelmingly supported by his people, which undoubtedly indicated that he is the right choice.
I present to Kabiyesi Oba Kazim Aderibigbe Balogun the staff of office and instrument of appointment, the Alale of Agility.
Honorable Afolabi Afuakwe reminded the good people of Agility community to rally around their monarch towards improving the town.
Major problem in Nigeria as a whole now is security. And as such, as Kabiyesi that is very close to the community, he should take the security issue very seriously. At the same time, he must carry along everybody that contended for the throne. In every situation, in any race, there must be a winner. Some people will have to step aside. God has destined him to be, and he should ensure he carry everybody along for the development of Agility community and Ogun State as a whole.
Dignitaries, royal fathers, as well as sons and daughters of the community appreciated God for making the day a reality.
So he should bring everybody, elders, the kingmakers, youth, old, bring them together and let's move the town forward.
Well, he should see his ascension to the throne as not victory for him alone, but for all the indigenes of Agility, and he should strive to carry everybody along. He should be no victor, no vanquished.
Oba Aderibigbe is a socialite and he's a very down-to-earth person. He's someone with large heart, and that's why everybody loves him. When his issue of candidature came up, a lot of people embraced it because they have known him right from childhood, that he's a man of his word.
The monarch assured his people of more developmental programs to better their lots, especially in the areas of security and infrastructure.
What we are looking at first is the security, peace and development of this community, Agility as a whole. And we will do our very best to see that Agility moves forward.
Oba Kazim Aderibigbe Balogun is the 7th Alale of Agility community in Yewa South local government area of Ogun State. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
The Chairman, House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development and member, Federal House of Representatives, representing Ikene, Shagamu, and Raymond North Federal Constituency, Honorable Adeomi Ononuga, has commended and described the federal government's grant disbursement a hitch-free exercise in Ogun State. Honorable Ononuga, who has been on ground to monitor and assess the process of the disbursement in the state, said the process and the way of compliance has been highly commendable from the flag-off ceremony till date. It will be recalled that the grant was specifically designed to provide 20,000 naira one-off grant to some of the poorest and most vulnerable women in rural areas of the country. He said it would be gratifying to know that despite the economic and revenue challenges, the Buhari's-led administration is continuing with and even expanding the social investment scheme.
So my advice to them is that it's not money to go into the market and buy fresh fish. It's not money to go to their friend's house and say, oh, I have an Ankara I want to choose for your mother's burial or father's burial. It is for them to actually add to the products that they're selling or to whatever business that they're doing.
The Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogubanwo, who was equally on the ground with the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Kehinde Onosanya, charged the beneficiaries to make good use of the fund, adding that the grant was geared towards empowering rural women to establish their trade and be self-reliant. Barrister Ogubanwo enjoined the beneficiaries to reciprocate the government gesture by ensuring the money received was used for profitable ventures. In her response, one of the beneficiaries, Mrs. Morili Adesoya, appreciated the federal and state governments for their assistance, promising not to disappoint them. The role of women in community development cannot be overemphasized as they contribute immensely to the social and economic growth of the society at large. This was part of the contributions of women in politics in Ogun State, who spoke on the role of women in community development. Our reporter Adebola Oshomoji tells us more in the special report.
In community development, it requires full involvement and leadership of the people in planning, developing and evaluating actions and initiatives. To achieve these attributes, according to the respondent, women should not be left out.
I take every opportunity to speak about women and girls issues very seriously, because although it seems like they are giving a lot of attention, there are still major gaps that need to be addressed concerning these issues. I would like to let the men in our midst know that women's advocacy is not a gender competition. We appreciate your role in society and our lives, and as the default authority figures in our societies, we are speaking about these issues so that you can understand the intricacies and play your part in the actualization of women and girls' empowerment.
When you empower women, right, empower one woman, and you are actually providing for 2, 3, 4, maybe more people, because the woman will not let her family go hungry. The woman will look after her children, she will support her husband, she will support her in-laws, she will support her relatives. Because women have that resourcefulness, they have that special gift.
They also advocate quality education among women to tackle any factor militating against their roles in the community.
I think over the years we are getting better because more females are being educated. When you have education, then you have liberty. Then you have people who have understanding. Then you have people who are empowered. Then you have people who can take decisions. So when we have more women occupying positions, we discover that things get better because women can actually think deeper and then they can actually influence a lot of things in the society.
We educate them about economic empowerment because it's not just having children. You have to be economically viable to be able to raise those children. That is how you then empower a woman, because it's not just about childbirth, it's the totality that you have to think about, because majority of the population are actually women that contribute to the economy of the state.
It is in no doubt women play a vital role in the development of the nation. Hence, all hands must be on deck to promote their integrity, as no limit should be placed on what they can collectively contribute to community development. Adebola Oshomoji, OGTV News.
Ogun State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, have agreed to ensure that capable teachers are available to mobilize pupils and enlighten parents for successful administering of deworming drugs and other prevailing neglected tropical diseases (NTD) across the 20 local government areas of the state. This came to the fore during an advocacy visit to the Education Ministry by NTD Department of the Ministry of Health on how to eliminate the emerging deadly diseases among the people. Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, assured the team that his ministry would continue to partner with relevant stakeholders on issues that could better the lot of school children and to make them excel in their studies. Represented by the Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Mrs. Abosede Ogunleye, Arigbabu affirmed that the request of incorporating the warming day into school's calendar would be critically looked into, promising to join hands in the launch of adequate advocacy for the total eradication of NTD.
So many things are happening to people that, they will just think it's part of their lives. Whereas, there could be solutions, or there will be solutions if they speak up and they, people around are quite aware of what they are passing through.
In her remarks, the Ogun State Coordinator of NTD, Dr. Islamiat Shuleye, noted that Ogun State government is taking steps towards ensuring that diseases were prevented among the people, adding that the Ministry of Health has put up programs such as school-based deworming exercise to combat the diseases. Speaking earlier, representatives of the Federal Ministry of Health, Mr. Gideon Udwak, and Countdown Organization, Dr. Akinola Oluwole, solicited more support of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology to train teachers on proper administering of deworming drugs in schools. With the vision to improve on the health status of its entire workforce, the Ogun State Television OGTV, in conjunction with Sweet Frame Optical Services, has organized a free eye test for members of staff. The medical outreach was held at the conference room of the station. Shemin Lori Makonjo reports.
Periodically, management of the Ogun State Television make it a point of duty to give its workforce access to affordable healthcare system. This time around, a free eye test has just been conducted on staff with a view to improving on their productivity. Having noticed the busy schedule of workers, the station decided to make the process easier by bringing a free eye test closer to its workers in partnership with Sweet Frames Optical Services.
Normally come every 2 years to review the staff and management eye test, eye examination, general comprehensive eye test. So we come with our reputable optometrist and frames, drugs prescribed by the doctors. The only defeat that most of them has is wearing of glasses, and those ones that have pressure in their eyes, we give them the required drugs and even send them to the clinic for further examination.
The management of the station was, however, commended for initiating such program.
Because of the exposure to light, we are bound to have problems with our visual. So I think this is one of the ways to guard against that, to prevent such occurrences.
God said, let there be light. And there was light. But do you know one funny thing? If your sight is not working fine, you cannot see the light, not to talk of enjoying it. And this is what the management has seen. And they discovered that it is necessary to take good care of staff when it comes to health.
It is a known fact that without good sight, one cannot work effectively. So for the management of the station to have come together to put this eye test for the staff, it's a good initiative, and it shows that the management have the interest of the staff at heart. So it's a good development for me.
Oftentimes we find it difficult to go to the hospital or to medical centers to subject ourselves to a medical checkup. But when we have the opportunity of having it at our doorsteps, we can always afford ourselves the opportunity of having our eyes checked.
Individuals of all ages were also urged to take their health seriously, particularly undertaking a periodic checkup to avert the risk of other health challenges that could arise in future. Shemilori Makoju, OGTV News.
Ogun State government has commended students of Remo Secondary School, Shagamu, for their outstanding performance in some recently held competitions that saw them emerge as winners at various levels. The State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, gave the commendation in his office at the presentation of the students to the state government to encourage and celebrate them for making the state proud. Arigbabu expressed delight at the performance, pointing out that this feat would always spur government to do more.
This is one of the things that makes me happy as a Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology. A situation whereby we have students and learners from our public schools doing very well. It gladdens my heart because it is a sign that the efforts of this current administration in the area of education is actually yielding the desired fruits.
He advised the students to make the best use of the opportunities provided for them, while he also urged parents to give necessary support to their children. The students celebrated were Orekoya Precious and Adeleke Jesululua, who came first in the Steno Memorial Competition with a gift of laptop and cash prizes each. Also, Odunuga Ifeoluwa and Shoneyeti Mitope, first runner-up of OGTV at 39 schools debate, received cash prizes. From Abuja, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the establishment of a federal polytechnic in Ayede Oguluwa, local government area of Oyo State. President Buhari also approved the sum of 2 billion naira from the resources of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund for the immediate takeoff of the polytechnic. This was stated by Presidential aide Bashir Ahmad via his verified Twitter handle that the approval was confirmed by the Ministry of Education. The President had also approved the establishment of the Federal Polytechnic in Shedam, Plateau State. The U.S. Embassy and Consulate in Nigeria has announced that the services of Yoruba and Hausa teachers are needed in the United States. According to the Public Affairs section of the U.S. Mission in Nigeria, which made the announcement on its website, made it known that applications from qualified Nigerians wishing to teach Hausa or Yoruba languages and cultures to American students in U.S. universities and colleges opened February 1 and will end on June 1. The applications have been requested under the Mission's Foreign Language Teaching Assistance Program, FLTA. The FLTA program, the mission explains, is designed to offer young foreign teachers an opportunity to teach Yoruba language and culture to American students in universities and colleges. The program will also allow participants to redefine their teaching skills, increase their English language proficiency, and extend their knowledge of the culture and customs of the United States by engaging in non-degree studies while following the instructions of foreign languages at U.S. colleges and universities. Along with the studies, participants teach language courses, supervise language labs, and lead language table discussions. Leadership problem, perhaps the most excited reason under development in Africa, was revisited at the National Defense College Course 29 lecture series. President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, drew the attention of leaders in Nigeria, especially the participants, to the need for national peace and unity through strategic leadership. The President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, was invited to share his leadership experience with the National Defense Course 29 participants as guest lecturer. The focal point of the meeting was strategic political leadership and aid directive.
Strategic leader will be tasked to no end.
Drawing from his personal experience at the National Assembly since 1999, he said unity of purpose among leaders is the greatest tool for national development.
We must ensure that we weave the diversity into our strength, that we are able to create and sustain unity to engender peace and progress.
Responding to some questions bordering on national economy, Senator Lawan supported 5-year economic plan for Nigeria, the development of agriculture, and the provision of more employment opportunities from private sector.
As with food security, we need to feed ourselves from what we produce.
Some of the participants followed the lecture virtually in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. The Senate Committee on INEC has rejected a suggestion that under-18 married girls should have the right to vote. Fielding questions on Tuesday in Abuja, the committee chairman, Senator Kabiru Gaya, said the suggestion was made at the public hearing on electoral reforms. He said the ongoing amendment to the Electoral Act No. 6 of 2010 would not confer voting rights on underage, but married girls referred to as child wives. Gaya said the issue raised a lot of dust when it was presented in a memorandum submitted to a technical committee set up on the reforms. Meeting of the committee to review and adopt the report of the twin increase of petroleum motor spirits, PMS, and electricity tariff has resolved to meet in 3 weeks. This is to enable the organized labor time to study the recommendations submitted by the committee. Although the Committee on Electricity Tariff is yet to finish work on it, but technical report is expected in a week's time.
The Committee on Petroleum Pricing have finished their work. They have sent in the reports. We received the report and adopted the reports. So Labour asked for some time to go and subject the reports to their various organs. It's a technical report. We are coming back at the end of 21 days after Labour has taken time to look at the report, and I'm sure we will get a landing on the matter.
Is there any hope of new templates?
Yes, already the committee has suggested, made some recommendations, far-reaching recommendations, which I believe are quite acceptable. But, well, it all depends on Labour.
We accepted the report as a working document. So we have gone through the report, and we found out that there are some elements in the report that certainly we need to interrogate the report very well, because part of the report is what we refer to as the regulation, but which is based on import-driven deregulation, which means that some of the variables, that is exchange rate, inflation, and the price of crude oil at the international market will continue to drive the process of price modulation. And we thought that that may be a cycle that will not have an end, and therefore we need to do a broader consultation and come up with something that we think can be beneficial both to Nigerian workers and Nigerians as a whole.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, as well as organized labor, are hopeful that the year 2021 will bring good luck to Nigerians instead of challenges. Meanwhile, the federal government is worried about the possibility of a scarcity of premium motor spirits, PMS, also known as petrol, in the country. Mr. Timipre Silva, who is the Minister of State for Petroleum, raised the concern at a late-night meeting between the government and leaders of the organized labor. The meeting was in continuation of the series of dialogues between both parties in a bid to persuade the labor unions not to go on strike over the increase in the price of petrol and electricity tariff. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has said it won't hesitate to shut down schools in the country should there be a spike in COVID-19 cases recorded in Nigeria. PTF National Incident Manager Mukhtar Mohammed stated this on Monday. He said the issue of school reopening is something that the PTF has discussed very extensively. The Ministry of Education decided to open the schools based on their own understanding. It was the states that actually wanted to have the schools reopened. The PTF said it is watching very closely and monitoring what is going on, but in view that if cases continue to rise in the country with incidences in schools, certainly the PTF will have schools closed. Still on COVID-19, a COVID-19 isolation center was on Tuesday inaugurated at the State House Clinic, Abuja. The facility named the State House Clinic Special Care Center was conceived and completed within 10 weeks. The Deputy Director, Information, State House, Atta Essa, disclosed this in a statement titled PTF State House Clinic to Get COVID-19 Testing Laboratory. The Director General of the Progressive Governors Forum, Dr. Saliu Lukman, has said the 2021 Transparency International Corruption Perception Report about Nigeria was part of the 2023 political campaign. He said the report, which painted a disturbing picture of the state of the anti-corruption war, should be a thing of concern to all well-meaning Nigerians. Lukman said this in a statement made available in Abuja on Tuesday. The ongoing National Identification Number and Subscriber Identity Model Integration exercise has been extended by 8 weeks. The federal government announced on Tuesday morning the new deadline is now April 6, 2021. Director, Public Affairs, Nigerian Communications Commission, Ikechukwu Adinde, who disclosed this in a message, said the extension was conveyed by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami. The immediate past chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has said that the 15 aircraft and 8 drones being expected by the Nigeria Air Force would reposition the service in addressing the security challenges facing the nation. According to him, the Air Force now has enhanced research and development capacity through a partnership with 15 Nigerian universities aimed at addressing certain aircraft maintenance challenges. Speaking during the fly-out ceremony at the NAF base, Abuja, on Tuesday, the 28th, Chief of the Air Staff, who served for 5 years, explained that his administration had added value to what it made in 2015, as well as contribute to the security and development of the nation. On the business news segment, Nigeria has $900 billion debt capital in real estate. More news after the break.